No, this reminded me of something that happened to me recently, which I will share with you. It's not gross. It is gross. I'm on the toilet. Creating, you know.
Creating.
As we do. And when I'm finished, I stand up to see what I have wrought. And what I notice is there is blood in my stool. That's as graphic as the story gets. There's blood in my stool.
Ulcerative colitis.
What did you say?
Ulcerative colitis.
Ulcerative colitis. It could be, I don't know.
I am not calling for us to stop being offended by things. I want us to think about things and why they offend us. Why are so many audiences thrilled by blue material? Why are we attracted to the offensive, and what makes even the most horrible jokes funny? For example, a joke that my friend Boris tells never fails to make me laugh. My grandpa died in Auschwitz. Fell off a guard tower. That joke is horrific on so many levels, yet you can either laugh or you're going to cry. Might as well laugh and ease the pain of past events.
I don't know what it is. I see blood in my stool, and I think to myself, worst case scenario. You know, my mind immediately goes there because my grandparents, 3 of them, had colon cancer. 2 of them died from colon cancer. And so I know at some point in my life, I'm probably going to get colon cancer. So I'm naturally alarmed when I see this. And then I'm thinking, no, it's not. It can't be. I'm a young man. I'm 18 years old. I can't possibly.
I'm also not calling for the end of laughter. To be honest, I think some of those jokes are really clever. The one about Jesus being a shitty carpenter, I laughed a lot. Although, if I heard this joke as a Christian committed to my faith, of course I would be upset. That shit's offensive!
The stool guy! So, then the nurse comes and she's like, why are you here? And I'm like, I got blood in my stool. And then she writes that down, and then the doctor comes in and he looks at the chart and he reads that I have blood in my stool, and he goes, so why are you here? And I go, I have blood in my stool. And he goes, can you describe it? And I go, I think I can. There is blood in my stool.
Why are we offended by the jokes of those who do not share our opinions? Because they are insensitive to the beliefs of others. We know when we're about to make an offensive joke. Okay, one time I said, that person probably shouldn't be friends with us because he loves God. Probably not a smart thing to say in a group of people whose religious beliefs you're not exactly sure of. Although, in this case, I believe that this joke was more offensive to me and my blaspheming friends. Sure, it has a derogatory undertone, all jokes do, but in reality, this brings into question the character of my cronies rather than the person in question. I know that this joke is offensive. I know that the person who got pissed about this joke had a good point, but I'm sure that she did not see the joke from my perspective. This brings me back to the Michael Ian Black story. He said that his first instinct was to fall on the floor, which he did, after the man released the wretched comment. Having been present at the event, I noticed a disconnect between the comic and the audience member. Michael Ian Black is a seasoned comic, a Jew, and, over the course of his enduring career in comedy, has probably heard and told some pretty offensive jokes. The man in the audience was a typical Southern Ohio farm type, with a twang in his speech and the facial hair to match it. This man is likely to have gone home, sucked down half a bottle of wild turkey, and had a good laugh over racial slurs describing Michael Ian Black. What? Oh, that was offensive? Point is, these parties have completely different prerogatives. What was offensive to one was hilarious to the other. There's really no point in attempting to compromise.
I could stand with my underpants on and you'd go, come on, buddy, grow up. So I decided, all right, I'll take off my underpants too. And that seems to be the right thing to do. okay? Because he doesn't say anything, but there's a moment where we're standing at each other, staring at each other like this. And then I say the most humiliating sentence I have ever said to another man. As I'm standing there, naked in front of him, I say, "Where would you like me?"
Hypothetically, if someone who was Jewish had made the same joke, would it have been funny? Many argue that if you've experienced it, you're allowed to poke fun at it. Does a personal tie to the subject make anything less offensive, or does it perpetuate a trend of downgrading the seriousness of things like the Holocaust, domestic violence, or poverty? You're free to be your own judge. On the other hand, some people are really offended by things, from the ridiculous to the mundane. From taxidermy to dick jokes, marijuana, beer bongs, pedophilia, to MySpace photos, and porn. And finally, potty humor. I am personally offended by Glee. Yes, it is a stupid thing to be offended by, yet I will never relinquish my right to hate the guts of Ryan Murphy and his ilk. They have never done anything good for America or themselves besides make fuck tons of money on a bullshit stereotype of a TV show. You are what you hate, Murphy! My real intention is to tell you that this is okay. It's alright to be offended by Glee and tell jokes about the Holocaust. Both need to be laughed at because of the actual anger that it arises in human beings. I by no means am equally horrified by both, but laughing at things is the only way we overcome them. Joking helps us. Joan Didion says, "We tell ourselves stories in order to live. We must also tell ourselves jokes in order to live well." Unfortunately, a joke that helps you might hurt a person you tell it to. So be offended. Tell people when they piss you off. Remind them of their audience, and remember that every time you tell a joke, you're playing to an audience too. Just don't get crazy.
I did have like a beet salad a couple of days ago. And he does this. And I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. You can't open with, "Have you had any red foods?" Like, that's not your opening line when you walk into the room and you see blood in the stool? Because if I'm the doctor and I see that, I'm like, I'm just going to ask him if he had any beets. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to ask him if he had any beets. I'm going to be like, "Dude, have you eaten any beets?" First question out of my mouth. I want to stick my hand in your ass. So just tell me you had beets. But he didn't. He like went through 50 things. None of them were, "Did you eat any fucking beets?" And I'm like annoyed. So I say to him, "You might have thought about asking that beforehand." And he's like, I know, I'm sorry. It's just that I was walking in and I saw your chart and said blood in the stool, and then I came in and I saw your face and you look kind of nervous. And I thought to myself, aha, opportunity to be hilarious.